स्टूडेंट्स आज आम गोटे क्लोज लेसन पढ़ा मुझे जानी तुम मानक स्टोरी भल लगे नहीं। अच्छा कि प्रकार स्टोरी भल लगे कहला? एडवेंचर स्टोरी, ह्यूमर स्टोरी ना स्टोरी विथ हैप्पी एंडिंग और सैड एंडिंग और स्टोरीज बेस्ड ऑन truth? Oh, humor stories you like? Okay, today we will discuss a topic based on a very interesting story. Okay, before starting the story, let me know have you ever seen somebody writing a letter? Yes, you yourself have written a letter or not? No, I know you have never written a letter because you are in this computer age, so you are doing everything in computer. You are sending message in SMS, WhatsApp or email, so you cannot write a letter. But in exam you are writing letters, both formal and informal letters. ठीक अच्छी तुम्हें जदि चिट्ठी केबे लिखी ना कि कहा देखी ना तबे you don't know or you never saw anybody writing a letter to God. Have you seen? No. So today we will know about a story which is based on a person and he is writing a letter to God. Do you think he is a madman? No, he is not mad. He is a very simple, innocent man named Lencho who was a farmer, and he was living happily with his family and he was earning his livelihood from a small piece of land. Every year he was getting good harvest, so that throughout the year he was living happy. But once he was in difficulty, he was in problem, so he thought of writing a letter. As he has nobody, no neighbor, no relatives, no friends, but he was a strong devotee of God, so he thought of writing a letter to God. So now we will read the story and know more. What was the result? Did God give a reply to his letter? Did God fulfill his desire? So let us read the story. The topic is a letter to God, and its writer is G.L. Fuentes, Gregorio Lopez Fuentes. So this writer belongs to Mexico, and along with writings he is also known as a good novelist and poet, and all his writings are full of humor and interest. So now here also a letter to God is a very good interesting story. So now let us know more about this story. So open your book and I will read aloud the first paragraph, and you will just go through the book and focus on the main idea of this paragraph. You should be very careful while reading silently. A letter to God. The house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill. From this height one would see the river and the field of ripe corn dotted with the flowers that always promised a good harvest. The only thing the earth needed was a downpour or at least a shower. Throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his field intimately, had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. So now you read silently and tell me what you make out. Now if there is any difficult word, tell me. Crest. Crest means top. Lencho's house was on the crest of a hill, on the top of a hill, on the summit of a low hill. Then what more? Dotted, scattered, scattered. तन चारियाडे बेसी है कि पड़िबा खेळई हबा. The mustard field is scattered with yellow flowers. Do you understand? So dotted means scattered. Any more difficult word? Downpour. Heavy rain or heavy rainfall. Now you must understand something while reading mindfully. So now we can summarize this paragraph that Lencho was a very small farmer having a piece of land, and he was totally depending on his corn field for his livelihood. So every year his field was giving him a good harvest. So he was living happily, and his house sat on the top of the hill, and his house was the only house, a single house in the entire valley. That means there was no other house. There were no neighbors of Lencho. His house was the only one house, a solitary house. Single, lonely. So his house was a single house in the entire valley. And as his house was on the top, he could see the rivers flowing near the hill, and he could also see his cornfield, which was very ripe cornfield and full of flowers. That means it indicates that the cornfield will give him a good harvest, and throughout the year he could live happily. So he was in hope of rain. As the field was full of flowers, only there was need of a downpour, a heavy rain, or at least a shower. गोटे असराय वर्षा निहाती दरकार पड़ता खेत. जदि असराय वर्षा है जीवो तेबे तारा फसल बहुत भल हम आ वर्ष सारा से आराम से चल. So in this hope, Lencho did nothing throughout the morning. He sat looking at the northeast sky. That means the rain will come from the northeast direction. So he did nothing. There was no work, because when there will be rain only, then he will go to his field, and there will be good crops, good harvest. So throughout the morning he did nothing but looked at the northeast sky. So now you tell me, who was Lencho? Lencho was a farmer. Where did his house sit? His house sat on the top of a lawn. Okay. Then what did his cornfield require? What did his cornfield need? It needed rainfall or downpour. So where did Lencho look throughout the morning? at the northeast sky. So, all about Lencho and his family and his house is described in this paragraph. Now, you can read it mindfully and find out as many questions as possible from this paragraph. What type of questions come in your exam? For today, that's all.